Hello, we haven't seen each other for a while. Today I would like to talk about two important aspects of not just life, but I think these two aspects are very important in our life, particularly in our careers and relationships, as well as in business, and maybe actually I should say that particularly in business. So the first thing is the change. The change which is important that we embrace, um, because when we start a business, the change is huge. Uh, Initially, in the first years of running a business, we really need to put time into creating our business. So it may well be that some of us will have to work 24/7 in some cases, and believe me, this can be like that. I was about 10 years ago doing that work, and there were some weeks where I had so many engagements and different tasks to do that both myself and a couple of my employees were working 24/7 for 3 weeks to be able to deal with everything that we've had. So the change for all of us was extremely big, simply because the family suffered, and there sometimes isn't a way that we could change anything. So John F. Kennedy said once that change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. Change can be very dramatical, very sudden. And when we run a business, we need to be prepared for either economical changes or maybe market changes, like in the case of 2008 when the world was hit very heavily with the recession, where we still in many cases feel the knock on effect of that some 9 years later. So how to embrace change? I think the first aspect of embracing change is to say that we need to be open-minded. We need to have that little switch in the back of our head which will turn on when the necessity comes. So when the adversity is around the corner, we are prepared for any eventualities. In business, it is particularly important. It is also extremely important in the family life. So virtually every aspect of our life is important. And if we don't brace a change, if we are having issues with facing change, or if we are afraid of change, this could have a huge impact on our future. We can also say that in many ways change is an inevitable thing. Change happened. We change throughout our life. When we first are born, we don't walk, we are very small, we barely move, and obviously we don't speak. Then we start crawling, then we start walking, then we starting education. So we should be absolutely familiar with the fact that changes are happening all the time. And in my experience, that change was constantly, but there was one change for which neither myself or members of my family were not prepared. And that is illness, a terminal illness. With terminal illness, it is a fact that if one member of a family is ill, the whole family is ill. The change is so sudden and yet so powerful that very often the adaptation to the new situation can be dramatical. We know of lots of families that are breaking up, partners are leaving each other, there are nervous breakdown, there is lots of stress, lots of depression. It's a very, very hard time because a member of the family received the news of a death sentence. It's like a life court, a trial that gives its sentence. And in our case, that sentence was that the chance of survival of my member of family was 1 out of 4. We have been given 2 years, and what can you do when you think of the future and somebody tells you you've got only 2 years to live? What would you do? What are the first thoughts that hits you there and then? And how to cope with that weight that suddenly has been put on the back of you. And then if you have employees, you have to think of those because they are part of that family. It's very hard when changes like this are happening, and even harder if we have a sudden death in the family. So we need to be prepared. We need to be free of fear. We need to be understanding, and we need to be grateful for every single thing that we have, because the time is now. It's not what was yesterday. The time is now, and now creates tomorrow. So if we are aware that we have to think and we have to act now, our mindset is changing. And in our case, we suddenly had to change from thinking forward to thinking now, here, and take things as they come, appreciate them, be grateful for every single minute, second, every single hour, every single day that God has given us to enjoy life, enjoy each other, and be able to still work hard to grow a business or to work in a career or to do anything else beside caring for someone terminally ill. A few years ago in America, people who became millionaires have been well respected, and it doesn't matter what road they have taken to reach that wealth. And today this is changed. This is changed because it's a totally different approach to things today. Today, people are respected who become billionaires. In the UK, we are appreciating everything that comes to us. Some people are unhappy, some people are overjoyed. The change happens all the time. So we have to be constantly developing. We have to learn, we have to develop, we have to be observant, we have to see what is going around us. We cannot stay behind. And everything that we do, everything that we are giving out from us to others, to ourselves, the effort that we put in is going to be rewarded. The rewards come in various different ways. It could be that we become millionaires. It could be that we're going to be financially free without becoming millionaires. But the key thing is, whatever happens in our lives, is to go and appreciate what we have now and create better tomorrow. We need to learn, we need to develop, we need to read, watch videos, and in today's day and age, we've got so much material to go through. We've got so much information on video, on MP3s and MP4s, we've got Kindles, we've got PDFs material on the internet, we have books. There is so much we can learn. There is so many seminars, there is so many training courses, there is so many meetings and workshops that we can go to. Don't avoid them. Don't avoid educating yourself, because if you don't do something now, later, when the time comes and you will be resting in peace, you might be having some regrets, and you will be lying there in the cemetery thinking, I haven't done this, I haven't done, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. Why didn't I do it? What stopped me from doing it? So why not think now? Why not take action now? What stops you, or who stops you? The answer is very short. It is up to us. It is us who are stopping ourselves. So it is up to us to take action. If we want to achieve something, we must take action. And with action, we need to remember about two more very important aspects. And the first one is trust. When we are building relations with people, be it our clients, our business partners, our family, friends, people who refer business to us, anyone that we come into contact with and we have dealings with, we need to build trust. Because in business today, if we don't trust anyone, are we going to buy from them? Are we going to recommend them to our clients or our family or our friends? If we don't trust someone, are we able to use their services or buy their products? If we don't trust someone within our business, if we don't trust someone within our family, are we going to be building good relationship? So think about this. How can I build trust? How can people trust me? What should I do that people will trust me? And sadly, I can think of a couple of issues in business that can create mistrust. And a few days ago, I had a very interesting conversation with someone who has had bad experience with service from another business, and for 2 years there was no contact between the service provider and the service taker, because the service taker has got upset, for the reasons that they were unhappy with the service provided, but they have not provided the clear and concise complaint. So the situation became so uncomfortable that the client, that is the service taker, and the service provider were avoiding each other. So behind their backs, each side was talking to their contact saying, oh, this client hasn't paid me, or this service provider has made a mess of my contract. So how can we overcome a situation like this? The only way is to trust each other enough to have a discussion, merit a proper a discussion which will be able to resolve the situation. That's how we can build trust. If we are going to walk away from each other, what are we going to do? One side is not going to be paid and the other side is not going to be happy. So the unhappy side is going to be talking to everyone, saying how bad service they have received. If we want to succeed in business, we need to build trust. We need to provide the service that we have promised, but also if we can give more than we actually promised, is going to give us a far better testimonial from the client than if we would under-deliver. An example. If I would say to my client, look, this is going to cost, for example, £100, and I will give you the full service, the full advice, the mentoring, the coaching, and this is going to take, say, 10 sessions, and it will cost you, say, £500 a session. We can start now. And the client says, okay, so let's do it. And if I have not made the client to be satisfied after each session, if I don't ask the question, what is there that you have taken out of this session? Are you happy with what you have learned today or what you have resolved today? How will I know that the client is going to come back for the next session and be happy with the second session when there is no trust? And if I under-deliver, so my aim is to always over-deliver. I always provide a much bigger value than the charges that I do. Not everyone is doing that, and that's absolutely fine. Everyone has got their own ways of doing things, but I found that my way and the way I approach my client is working for me. So if it works for me and I am happy with it, then that's fine. But my key factor is that my client trusts my advice. My client trusts me as the person that will deliver what I have promised, and rather over-deliver than under-deliver. And just another example about trust is something that I have experienced myself many years ago now, between myself and my former business partner, is that after nearly 3 years of working together, the trust between us has deteriorated instead of being developed. And the reason for that was very simple. My business partner became very greedy for cash that we have generated in the business. And the way it has been shown to me, so the moment that I lost the trust in my partner was that we went to see a client, and the client was handing over a check for £25,000 to me, whilst the check was just being passed. My business partner snapped the check from our client's hand. The situation was very uncomfortable, but that gave me a huge warning with regards to the trust of my business partner. And from that moment in time, from that situation, I had to really watch what is happening. And very shortly after that, we have had a very painful, very bad separation, where we had to involve courts and legal procedures and so on. It's not a happy situation, but once you lose a trust, then it's very difficult to rebuild it. And sadly, we have never rebuilt that trust. In fact, we don't contact each other anymore, and I am happy because I've learned a lesson. I have taken the value out of it. I have took some very big conclusions from what has happened, and I am where I am, happy that I am able to pass my experience to other people and help them to develop or help them to prevent situations from happening. So trust is a vital thing, particularly if we have business partners in our business, particularly if we have referral partners, if we have clients, and in family, every single aspect of our life and work and business, trust is right there at the top of the shelf and need to be really looked after. So what else we can take from that? I think we should be able to have enough time and maybe self-discipline to be able to review what we do, to be able to say to ourselves that, okay, this has happened. What are we going to learn from that? What have we learned from that? Where this lesson can take us to, and how we can prevent others to make the same mistakes. How can we teach others to learn from our mistakes and be able to reach their goals and their objectives much faster? So it is very important to be able to be self-accessible. If we are able to learn from others, if we are able to be self-aware of various pitfalls on our road to our goals, it will help us, it will shorten that journey, and it will have us to have a circle of people around us who is going to support us, who is going to be our phenomenal asset in our journey to the stop that we want to get to. It cannot be really undervalued. It has to be said that trust and be able to be clairvoyant, if we can say that, and be able to assess what we have done and what we can do to be able to move from any mistakes and avoid making them again is going to help us in our business. And I think that having said this about trust, being trusted by others and be able to trust others is giving us two other aspects, and that is that our visibility will be at much bigger level. People will be talking about us, and our profitability is going to gain because we're going to have more customers, we're going to be able to sell more products or offer more services and be able to carry that out with profit. And at today's meeting, I've learned something else. When you do your services in a manner where people trust you, you're going to be referred to from sources that you could not even imagine. And as an example, if in fact this morning at my regular business meeting, one of our colleagues have mentioned that they had a client, somebody calling them about services that they provide, and they said, I have been told by my dad to call you. So after a short conversation, my colleague has learned about the other person's business and so on, and this is a question that my colleague came up. He said, Maria, how come that people from as far as Newcastle, which is 3-hour journey from where we are, people call me? I could not imagine that somebody would know me that far. Okay, locally there is fine, but he just couldn't believe that there is so much that is coming back to him for the work and the help that he's been doing, the mentoring he still is providing far more to his service than anyone else in his business would do. And that is so beautiful because he has built trust, and that is being repaid to him by the fact that people refer him from sources that he could never imagine. And this is the beauty of building relationships with people. This is the beauty of providing honest and trustworthy service, providing honest and trustworthy product, providing with that more than they actually promise. So I hope that this video has helped you today and has given you food for thought. If you have any questions, please do email me. My email address is below this video. I look forward to see you again. I'm very sorry that maybe I make some mistakes in some wording in my accent, but I hope that the content of this video is one that is more interesting than the actual my speech. It's difficult to speak to you when it is just a video. I am happy to speak in public when I have people in front, but it's difficult to speak when I am speaking just to the screen. I haven't got used to it, and I hope that I will master that situation as well. And the next content is going to be even more educating and more motivating for you. Look out, very shortly there will be another video. Thank you very much, and enjoy your business, enjoy your life, and trust yourself and trust others. If you don't trust anyone, don't do business with them. Bye bye.